All right, your boy Masta be here for the MMB Radio Online Podcast in the MMB Radio Studios, where no topic is too big or too small. We talk about them all. And just going forward with the whole new year, we always bring in more new guests and a new guest to the show. Miss Kiki Daire, how are you?
Fantastic. How are you?
Doing wonderful tonight, and we thank you for taking some time to talk to us. And I guess it's worth noting, and maybe it's not worth noting because people that listen to this podcast all the time know that we have only the best adult film stars. So, but you are an adult film star, correct?
I am.
Now, do you prefer adult film star? Do you prefer a porn star, or what do you like?
Oh, I don't really have a qualification on that. To me, it's kind of like I do, skin flicks. It doesn't really matter what you call it. It is what it is.
You do naughty shit on video. Yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
So, how long have you been in the skin flicks business?
I shot my first movie in 1998.
Okay, so it's been quite a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Now, the reason I was asking when you got into the business is because a lot of people may or may not be familiar with your work, and I know that you've been around for quite a while, but when you stop and you think about when you got into the business, that's quite a long time, right, for an adult starlet, to be in the business? Like, what is the average amount of years that someone would be in the business?
Well, it used to be, 2 or 3 years was about the average, and now it's gotten to the point where the average, I think, is something like 6 months. That's kind of crazy.
That's 6 more months longer than my porn career.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard on girls because, you have a lot of girls that are 18, 19 now that think they're going to be the next Jenna Jameson. And, so they seek out the business and then they get into it and discover that it's nothing like what they thought. So, you see a lot of girls come in and leave very fast.
Now, what have you done that has kept you so relevant and so busy in this business?
Well, I mean, I've taken breaks. I've taken time off here and there. I don't have a huge no list. I mean, I shoot just about anything and everything. I mean, there's only maybe a couple categories that I'm kind of like, nah, I don't need to shoot that. But, I mean, that helps. The other thing, too, that helps is actually preparing if you get given a script. Like, I mean, if you have lines, learn your lines before you go to set. Do your best to be well-groomed and considerate of the people that you're working with. I always tell new girls, don't be a bitch to the crew, because that crew, if they like you, will tell everybody they work with how great you are. If they think that you suck, they will tell everyone how much you suck.
So it's pretty much just, although it is porn, you do have to have some sense of professionalism, and you got to make you're clean and make sure that you're well groomed. Like you said, nobody wants a little dirty whore on the set. You can do that.
Oh no, they want a dirty whore. They don't want an unhygienic whore.
It's a difference. See, for those that are listening to the podcast, you're learning something here. There's a difference between a dirty whore and an hygienic whore. So, so how back in 1998, and you think about it, you stop and you think 1998. You're like, wow, what the hell was I doing in 1998? Downloading music off of Napster. Just doing whatever the hell you do before Y2K kicks in. So, where were you in 1998 that got you into the adult business? Like, how did those doors open for you?
Well, I mean, I wanted to be a feature because I was, dancing in a club, and I kept seeing the features come through, and so I wanted to do that myself. So I put myself in front of a dance agent, started doing dance competitions, started, doing like what they call the kindergarten circuit, and started seeing this photographer, and I just happened to be in Florida with him, and he was shooting a movie for somebody, and they needed a girl, and so they asked if I wanted to do it. I was like, yeah, sure. So we went to Mom's Venus and picked up another girl for me to work with and shot the scene.
Now, did you grow up watching porn? Was it something that you had available in the house, or is it something you were a late bloomer?
I didn't really see a lot of it as a kid. I mean, my parents were more into, like, Skinamax type movies. So, my mom used to watch the Emmanuelle movies, which are super erotic. Like, I grew up catching glimpses of those and was just like, ooh, I want to be her, talking about Sylvia Crystal. But there was a ton of other movies, like Porky's and Hots and like all of these, TNA B movies that they had. And then that's what their thing was. So hardcore wasn't really something that I stumbled upon, I mean, I didn't really watch porn before I got involved in it, and I still don't really watch it.
I was going to say, do you ever watch any of your own work, or is that just a little uncomfortable?
Oh, God,
or
no.
weird?
Are you kidding? I was there. I don't need to see it on the TV. Like, I've actually had that happen where people that I was dating are like, oh, look, here's one of your movies. Let's watch it. I'm like, no. Don't watch that without me. Don't watch it with me. Just turn that shit off.
Now, were you always you said you didn't watch porn as a child, and I say that a little weirdly because you watch child as a porn, or watched porn as a child. It just sounds weird and creepy.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about child pornography here,
yes.
so everybody calm the fuck down.
I mean, when you were younger, teenager-wise, were you always like an exhibitionist? Were you always out there, or were you just kind of like a quiet? Like, kind of tell us, what kind of child were you growing up?
Well, nudity was normal at my house. I mean, the first thing I learned to do after kind of the walk-run thing that toddlers do when they finally figure out that they have 2 feet and they can stand on them. The first thing after that I learned was how to take my diaper off.
So you were stripping at a young age.
Dude, there's like 5 million pictures of me as like a toddler, butt-ass naked. Like, yeah, it's kind of embarrassing. But that said, my mom, her idea of clothes at home was basically a T-shirt and underwear if we were lucky, I had other family members that were the same way. Come in, take off clothes, and that was that, So the body wasn't really something that was this horrible, shameful thing, which was nice.
So,
but
family came over to the house and just took clothes off?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I spent a lot of time at my dad's parents, and I mean, I've seen my grandmother and my grandfather naked more times than I care to even admit to, because, there again, it was just normal. I mean, my grandma would have on, a slip and, walk around like that while she was getting ready for something. It was normal at my house,
Okay.
Not so much when company came over, but I grew up around people that, whatever. I mean, my grandfather used to sit on the couch in his tighty whities and nothing else. Like, it's just the way it was,
So, Glad you were saying that. So this was the norm in your house. It's a very very open atmosphere and environment.
Yeah, and I mean, my family was big on music, because I had a ton of music educators in my family. So big on music, big on school. Like, I mean, I was expected to carry, straight A's. I was expected to really do well in school. And for the most part, I did. That was kind of what was expected. I mean, was I necessarily the most popular girl in school? No, I wasn't a cheerleader or any of that mess. I mean, I was expected to play music, so that's what I did. And I mean, I wasn't really in high school for the social aspect, I mean, with my family, it was all about, oh, you have to do well because, you've got to get into college and all of that.
Now, did you have a lot of boyfriends in high school? You say you weren't much of the socialite, but did you have like a steady boyfriend throughout high school?
Yeah, I did have a boyfriend in high school, and in college, he came out of the closet.
That's never good. I always felt like if that happened, like to me, it's like, then you really fucked up somewhere. Sorry, I mean, not to put you out there, but I mean, I'm speaking for myself only here. But if I was with a woman or a girl and found out later that she was a lesbian, then, damn, I must have done something wrong.
Oh, you know what? It's okay. It happened a couple of times. I mean,
oh, you're a repeat offender. Okay.
I was a repeat offender. I have amazing gaydar.
Now, so he was your boyfriend throughout high school, and then you found out that
yeah, but I mean, neither one of us was. It's not like we ever had sex or anything, so it's not like it was super weird when he was like, "Yeah, by the way,
girl, I meant to be telling you I needed to borrow some of your mascara, and I figured this would be the best time."
Told me, yeah, when he told me, I was just kind of like, "Wow, I'm surprised it took you so long to figure it out."
So you already kind of knew this then, or at least had a hint, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not super judgmental. I kind of figured that was going to happen, and I didn't have a problem with it.
So
it was what it was.
So you had this boyfriend who ended up being gay later on, or may have been gay at the time of dating him, because, as they say, you are born gay. So, before we even go any further, what's your stance on that? Like, did you think that he didn't know, or he did know, he just wasn't sure how to tell you, or wasn't sure of himself at the time?
Oh, I think he was going through what a lot of teenagers go through when it comes to sexuality and being outside the norm. I mean, being a teenager is confusing, and it's a really difficult time, and I'm sure it took him a long time to come to terms with everything that was going on with him. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Now, I mean, it'd be okay, like, if he was gay and then found out, like, oh, shit, my ex-girlfriend's doing porn. Would you be okay with him allowing to come back, like, like revoking that trade and come back to the other team? Because I would so be like, oh, damn, I kind of fucked up. I need to go back, but that's just me.
Yeah, I think that guy is very, very happy with his non-porno life,
So
yeah.
you said that you and him never had sex.
No.
When did you lose your virginity?
Oh, God, I was like 17, 18. I mean, I waited a while. No, I wouldn't have been 17, 18. I would have been about 17.
Okay, so you were in high school when this happened.
Yeah.
Okay, and then with the guy at the time, was he a boyfriend, or was he...
No,
some guy that you were just cheating on with your soon-to-be gay boyfriend?
I wasn't with anybody at the time.
Oh, so this guy, the gay guy, you ended up not being with him like the whole consecutive 4 years, or?
Yeah, no, we weren't together the whole 4 years.
All right,
so, I mean, it was, I think, a couple of years. And I mean, we were friends before and stayed friends after. Like, it really wasn't a big deal.
No,
I mean, it wasn't like, the relationships that you have in your 20s where you get all swept up and you think the world is going to end if you break up and it's so heart-wrenching and all that crap. It wasn't like that. I mean, it was high school. It was kid shit.
So the guy that you were with, it was just kind of a random hookup at a party? Like, kind of take us through this.
God, I don't even really remember too much about it other than it happened on the front seat of my car, I think. And he came all over the seat of my car because he didn't realize that he wasn't actually having sex with me. He was like sliding his dick along my butt crack.
So wait, so he never actually went inside?
He never actually penetrated, yeah. So that was like the first major sexual experience with a boy.
I can see why you're kind of suppressing that memory. I don't remember a lot from that night. I don't really know what happened. I just know it involved his cock, my butt cheeks, and the front seat of my car. Or were they cloth seats, leather? I'm assuming. Like, I'm hoping this was able to clean up
cloth,
easily.
Yeah.
Dude. All right. So what was those? I don't know. Do we count that? I mean, is that like? Does that count losing your virginity? It's like half in,
Dude, I
half
don't know.
out.
All I know is it was supposed to be, and it didn't quite work out. So.
It's
hey, whatever.
It's like those B movies, you know what I mean? It's like you think something's going on, but you really don't know if it is or isn't. You know? And I have like some of the B movies, you're like, are they really doing it, or is it just they just making it look like they're doing it? I never really know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It was pretty crazy.
So you got you're in the adult business, and kind of take us through your first couple scenes or movies. Was there any anxiety at anything at this point, or were you just kind of like, oh, this is kind of cool, I can do this, or kind of take us through that?
Well, the first couple of scenes were definitely scary, and I actually got lucky in the sense that I worked with great people. I mean, my first scene was with Jim Gunn and this cute little stripper girl, and as terrified as I was, we made it work. And the next scene that I did was a Paul Thomas movie for Vivid, and that was terrifying because it was Paul Thomas and, big company, big set. But Kim Chambers and Scott Stiles were super, super nice and did everything they could to make it as comfortable as possible. And I'm thankful for that. Very thankful, actually, because even now, sometimes I get a little nervous if it's a new company or, somebody that I've never worked with that I really want to impress, or, just whatever. There's a million different factors that come into play on sets because they're all different.
Now, what is the biggest thing that you've noticed change-wise from the business in 1998 when you got into it to shooting something today?
Oh, wow. There's a bunch of differences. I mean, back then it was a much smaller industry. There wasn't as many girls. There wasn't as many guys. Like, we all kind of knew each other. So that was very different. The internet really changed a lot as far as who shoots and who doesn't, as far as piracy. I mean, when I started, typically speaking, all the women in the movies were, blonde, tanned, small butt, and hips. Typically boobs were bigger than their hips and their butt. And, everybody kind of had a look. Boy, the internet changed that. Now, you see all kinds of girls of all shapes and sizes and ages. And, it's a great thing because it kind of opened people's eyes to, wait, all kinds of body types are beautiful. Anyone can be sexy. It's not just reserved for Barbie dolls. Well,
I always tell myself that, but, when I'm trying to get into the adult business, like, I look at myself and I'm like, damn, you're dead sexy. But then I realize that I'm really not, and this porn thing's probably not going to work out for me. But I appreciate your words of encouragement there. But
yeah, it's a little different for guys.
So going into this and you seeing that the game has changed so much, what is something that you still haven't done in this long career? Is there still something that you're like, I want to accomplish, or are you pretty much content with what you've done and what you've accomplished so far?
Well, I'm up for most outrageous sex scene at AVN this year. I'd actually really like to win that. We'll see. Next year I'd like to finally get my Hall of Fame induction. But I mean, other than that, I'm pretty good. I mean, there's really not that much left. I mean, it always cracks me up because people make it a point of saying, so what's your fantasy? And I'm like, dude, I'm all out. Like, seriously, thanks to porn.
They've come and gone.
Dude, thanks to porn, I've done things I would never even think of doing on my own, like fantasy, hot bath, candles, cuddles in bed, Netflix. Fuck, I don't know. I mean,
Netflix and chill, it's just...
Yeah, exactly.
So there's probably things like you said that you've never even envisioned doing. And you said you do have a short list of things that you would not do. What's something off that list that we're totally against from the beginning, and there is no wiggle room in convincing you to do it?
Oh, actually, something that I tried and just didn't like. I am not into gangbangs unless they're all girl.
Okay, so unless it's like a lesbian orgy, and now does this consist of like strap-on play, or is it just?
Yeah,
okay.
That's totally fine. Unless it's all women, I'm not interested in more than two guys at a time. Like, it's just not my thing.
No, why is that? Is it just as like a hygienic thing, or?
It's kind of like. I get what I call dick ADD. Like, there's so much going on that I kind of get lost with what I'm supposed to be doing. And, because, I mean, with that, they always want you to keep all your hands busy, keep your mouth busy, keep everything busy. And I'm sitting there going, wait, hold on. What? Whoa, yeah.
So it's like the old walking and chewing gum at the same time thing. It's it's not as easy as it looks, people.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what was some of your favorite types of scenes to have shot over all the years? Like, we know that gangbangs are just not on your creme de la creme list of things you would love to have done. What did you enjoy doing though?
Oh, wow. There's been a bunch of fun stuff over the years. I mean, I used to work with Antonio Pasolini once every couple of months, and I loved him. His shoots were always a blast because he would have you doing the most ridiculous stuff. I mean, it's actually, this is a funny story. So I get this phone call, and it's Tony saying, hey, I have this script, and do you have problems with clowns? And I'm like, no. As a matter of fact, I just went to the Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey Circus, and I saw, the circus on acid and thought how cool it would be to fuck a clown. And he's like, dude, are you serious? I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, okay, well, Evan Stone would be playing a dirty, drug-addicted, homeless, alcoholic clown. Are you in? I'm like, yes, sign me up. And we had so much fun. Like, it was so hilarious because I didn't really know Antonio that well yet. And so I pull him aside. I'm like, hey, can I verbally degrade and humiliate the clown? It's like, yes, I love it. Do it. I'm like, okay. So yeah, that was so much fun.
That's a weird way to get to know Antonio, though. I mean, how much do you get to know the guy when he's dressed up as a fucking clown? And
well, Antonio was the director.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, Evan Stone was the actor. I mean, and Evan can do anything.
Evan is a clown in and out of makeup. Can we just say that? Can we just put that out there?
Pretty much.
And Evan is he just does not have any care in the world, it seems like, which is cool, that the guy just lives life, I recently just saw him at Exotica, and he's walking around Exotica, and he's got these old school gym teacher gym shorts on, and
oh Jesus, which means he's popping his dick out at any pretty girl that'll look.
Exactly. And then I'm looking on Instagram, and I'm just hashtag Exotica, and there's fucking dudes taking pictures with him, and his shit is just you can see it in these little red shorts. You're dude, one slight centimeter to the right or left, and his shit is just gonna fall the fuck out. But guy just doesn't even care, and I mean, God bless him for having that attitude. But
well, if you ever have a minute, right, what you want to do at a convention is just follow Evan for a minute. You will notice something about him. He is so slick at fucking with people. It's unbelievable. I've literally sat there and walked conventions with him just so I could laugh, because he will do things get people all riled up and just walk away.
Well, that's what I say. He's taking pictures with these people, and it's just he's purposely just trying to make it look, that his shit's just gonna be bam, the main thing of this picture here, and these people are not even paying him anyway. He's walking around with this little fucking fanny packs on, with these little and his little gym shorts. I'm just shaking my head, and I'm fucking Evan is on a whole nother planet right now for the whole weekend and beyond. So,
oh yeah, well, seriously, Evan is hysterical.
Now, is not to discredit anybody else, but was Evan or who is your favorite talent to work with? And you could pick a couple of them if you need to.
Evan is definitely always fun. I really liked Danny Mountain a lot when I worked with him. I'm trying to think who else. Most of the women that I worked with are girls from, back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and super, super cool. I did one of Ginger Lynn's comeback movies and loved Ginger to pieces. She's a doll, crazy as they come, but sweet as can be. A good friend of mine, Sammy Phillips, I actually co-host her radio show on Vivid Radio a lot. She's great friend.
Now, if girls are still looking to try to get into the business, what is the one biggest piece of advice? I know we kind of talked about them being professional, but how do they get their foot in the door first?
Oh my God, it's so easy. There's half a dozen agencies. Call them.
Do you think the business is oversaturated now with talent, or?
Man, there's so many girls, and they come and they go so fast, and agents just churn them out like crazy. I mean, not to sound like I'm disinterested or bitchy. It's so easy to happen into porn now that I'm just dude, call an agent. Their phone numbers are online. It's not hard. I mean,
they're just waiting. They're just and everything. Operators are standing by, just waiting for somebody to call. It's just
Pretty
that
much.
simple. What
Pretty
is
much.
what is the biggest misconception of the adult business that people may not know from being on the outside looking in?
Well, okay, there's a couple of things. They all think that, we're walking STDs, which is not true. And, everybody thinks that when we're not at work, we lay around eating bonbons, partying, and fucking, and that's all we do. And no, that doesn't happen either.
So wait, Boogie Nights was not an accurate movie? I'm so disappointed.
That's funny.
I really thought I was going to be able to hang out with Burt Reynolds and you know what I mean, chicks are riding by on roller skates, and that's not how it is.
Yeah, no, that's not how it is.
And it really is a Netflix and chill type of night. Damn, that's I'm kind of disappointed now.
Seriously, like most people that work in my business are so chill outside of work. It's not even funny.
What do you enjoy doing outside of work? Do you have any hobbies or interests other than porn?
Yeah, I mean, I have my dog who she goes pretty much everywhere that she can with me. I like live music. I, get addicted to a TV show, and I'll literally sit down and watch like 6 episodes.
What show have you binge watched lately?
Actually, I binge watched Nashville, and I also did Empire.
Okay, so music shows. Okay.
Yeah, I tend to like stuff like that a lot. I also like historical shows.
Okay.
So like Rome or Spartacus, It also helps that there's like, nudity and eye candy.
I was going to say, you're probably watching, something that's on like HBO, like, like a Game of Thrones and not so much History Channel.
I actually do like the History Channel because I do like history, but
not enough nudity.
No, not even close. No. Sometimes you just need like a really dirty HBO series that's all like steamy, and you're just like, ooh. That's hot.
Speaking of which, I feel so prude right now because I just last night, finally watched 50 Shades of Grey for the first time on HBO at like 4 a.m. I just was flipping through.
God.
I watched it late. I was like a half hour into it, and I'm watching this movie, and it got off at like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm like, all right. Afterwards, I was like, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've been jaded so much by porn that 50 Shades of Grey was very tame for me. I'm like, what's all the uproar about? Like, this shit is nothing to me. Not that I practice, the playroom things, but
well, I mean, I couldn't even make it 45 minutes through that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I take that back. I couldn't even make it through 20 minutes. My mom was and I were watching it, and I took one look at my mom and I was like, dude, I'm going to bed. I can't watch this mindless bullshit.
I was wishing that like I could fast forward to the parts where there was like sexy type scenes. I'm like, all right, I really don't care about the dude taking her on a fucking helicopter or on a plane, and it's like, let's just get to the kinky shit. Like, that's what I want to know about, But
yeah.
So, I don't even know how we segue into this, but I'm just going to go into it. But you will be at AVN in Las Vegas, right? Nice segue from 50 Shades of Grey to AVN. So the Adult Entertainment Expo in Las Vegas at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino. It takes place on January 20th to the 23rd. You'll be there, I'm assuming, doing autographs, photos, and all that stuff prior?
I will be. I'll be signing at the Sex Box, which is booth 419, from 1:30 to 3:30 on Wednesday, and then the rest of the days I will be at the 101 modeling booth.
Now, for people who've never been to an AVN, I've never been to an AVN expo. I've been to Exotica's. Is it kind of like the same kind of feel, or?
Exotica is like a smaller party type atmosphere, and while AVN kind of has a party atmosphere too, it's much, much bigger, even though it's way smaller than it used to be. And, you know, a lot of people are there to really do business.
Okay. So it's more of like a business conference, whereas Exotica is more like a free-for-all. And
Yeah, exactly.
So they had the AVN show that weekend. Are you currently nominated for any awards?
I am Most Outrageous Sex Scene, and then I'm also nominated for some of the fan favorite stuff too.
Okay, and people can continue to vote for that at avnshow.com. And everybody does social media, so go ahead and let everybody know where they can stalk you at on social medias.
You guys can find me on Twitter and Kiki_Daire, that's Daire. You can find me on Instagram under Kiki Daire. I'm on Tumblr, realkikidaire.tumblr.com. My Facebook page is full, so I don't know that I would say go there. I also have a Clips for Sale store, my website, XXXkiki.com. So, yeah, plenty of places to find me.
I was going to say, even if you weren't doing porn or playing with your dog or, you know what I mean, going to the circus, that's a job right there just to handle all those websites and social media platforms.
Oh, my God. Like, every time somebody goes, so do you have this new app? I'm like, no, not another one.
No, I can't. It's like, I just picture one day that we're all just going to wake up and it's like, first thing we're going to do is, all right, send out all your tweets, then do your Facebooks, then do your Instagrams, then do your Periscopes, then do your Tumblrs. And it's just like, I was happy just to get through all emails by 12 noon. And it's just like, now I can't. You start playing with it, and eventually you just have to put it down sometimes. Because you'll never get through the day if you keep sitting on it. But what's some of the outrageous things that people tweet to you or send to you on Instagram? Do you get like a lot of unwanted dick pics and crazy requests?
Oh my God, I really don't. Thank goodness. I do have this one guy on Instagram that writes these like books, and I don't even read them. I just kind of go, oh look, he's at it again. Yeah. I mean, I don't really deal with too much crazy. I mean, every now and then there'll be somebody who complains that, you know, my new scenes aren't, you know, hard or nasty enough. And I'm just like, dude, you know what? I did all that in my 20s. I can do what I want now. If you don't like it, oh well.
Don't like that? Go back and watch the old stuff, you know?
Yeah, exactly. No offense.
Wait till Thursday, and then make it your Throwback Thursday, and you can sit there and you can watch all of Kiki Daire's stuff from like fucking 1999 and into the new millennium, and relive it all over again.
Exactly.
I mean, hell, you got over, 16, 17 years of fucking content there, dude. Like, I mean, you are pretty much, you have enough scenes, you could probably have your own, like, online streaming service, like Hulu, you know, or something like that. We'll just have it just Kiki, you know.
Oh, yeah, there is a lot of content. I mean, it's kind of funny, you know, because there's always the fan that walks up and says something along the lines of, wow, I really loved that scene of you in the black dress.
I really love that scene with you and the boobs and the dick.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and while I am really happy that people feel comfortable telling me that they appreciate my work and I appreciate their support more than they know, it's kind of difficult for me to keep up with my own filmography, and seen in a black dress.
But that's cool though, that like that you were able to trigger some kind of thought or memory with them that they, although they probably can't tell you the name of the movie or who you're working with, but at least the fact that they remember you were wearing something before you got naked shows that they, at least they were watching, the whole thing and not, somewhere on one of these pirated sites where they just get straight to it.
Well, I mean, absolutely. I mean, again, I'm not complaining. I'm just kind of laughing about how funny it really is because people do that. So do you remember that scene of you in a black dress? And I just have to look at him and go, no.
Now, they would have probably gotten, a little bit further if they said, do you remember that scene where you were, getting fucked by the clown that you were degrading?
Oh, yeah, no, that I'll never forget.
Yeah, see, that you could be kind of pigeonholed a little bit more, or not just walk up to her and be like, you remember that scene where you were giving that guy that blowjob and then just stop and just awkward silence and you're like, yeah, not really sure what you're talking about,
Oh, yeah, no, I mean, I have to tell people, like, listen, I am really, really happy you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for your support. I don't remember, and I'm glad you liked it.
You do realize, though, whenever I get the opportunity to meet you, because you won't know what I look like prior to it, and I go to meet you for the first time, I'm totally going to fuck with you. And I'm going to say something like that and be like, you remember that scene you did where you were getting it like doggy style?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'll look at you and be like, really, dude?
I'm going to pull an Evan Stone on you. I'm definitely going to. And I'll get really pissed off or something. I'll be like, you don't fucking remember. I can't believe you don't fucking remember.
Yeah, at that point, I'll probably be like, yeah.
I'm getting punked at that time.
Where's Ashton Kutcher? I'm getting punked, right?
Exactly. Is there anything you want the fans to know before you get out of here?
Just, you know what, you guys, thank you. Those of you that still buy your porn, thank you, thank you, thank you. Those of you that are pirating thieves, shame on you. And, please keep buying our stuff and supporting us so that we can continue to do what we do.
There you have it. Support your local porn stars. And
Yes, I like to eat, and I like to eat well.
Well, Kiki, we thank you for talking to us. It was a true honor and pleasure to have spoken to a soon-to-be AVN Hall of Famer, and we wish you nothing but success at AVN and bring home a whole bunch of trophies and awards, and just thank you for just everything you've done in this business for so long, and taking the time out to talk to my little perverted podcast in the middle of the World Wide Web atmosphere.
No worries, honey. You have a great night.
You too. Take care.
Bye. Hi, this is Kiki Daire, your favorite adult star, and you're listening to Mixmaster B on MMB